Hey everyone, thanks for being here. Quick favor, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Coffee, late night scroll, let me know. So here's what you need to know. I went on a trip I'll never come back from. Something on that island took pieces of me I didn't know I could lose, and I walked right into it. This is what happened. I woke up to salt and diesel fuel. My head throbbed with the rhythm of an engine. Darkness surrounded me, broken by amber light bleeding under a door. The world rocked in slow swells beneath me. A boat. Easy there, Ethan. Derek, my oldest friend. The man who'd called 3 weeks ago with an opportunity I couldn't refuse. Where are we? My voice came out hoarse. Almost there. 20 minutes. I forced my eyes to adjust. Derek leaned against polished wood paneling, his suit sharp even in dimness, his watch catching the light. I don't remember boarding. You had scotch at the dock. Premium stuff. The memory felt distant. The warehouse in Charleston, the private dock, well-dressed people moving like shadows. Derek's hand on my shoulder. A crystal tumbler. Then nothing. What kind of scotch knocks you out? My watch was dead. How long have we been traveling? Does it matter? Something in his tone made my skin prickle. We're here for an experience, brother. The door opened. Light flooded in, harsh and sterile. A woman with an empty smile gestured us forward. Gentlemen, we're approaching the dock. Please make your way to the upper deck. Derek pushed off the wall. Come on, you're going to want to see this. My life in Nashville had become identical days blurred together. I ran Apex excursions, catering to people with more money than imagination. I'd built it from nothing, and it had consumed everything. My marriage, my friendships, the version of myself who believed travel was about discovery. Julia left 2 years ago. After she left, the silence got worse. Derek called on a Tuesday, his voice crackling through a bad connection. We'd been college roommates, brothers in everything but blood. He'd gone into something vague, consulting, though he never specified what kind. I've got something for you, he'd said. An opportunity, a tour, ultra-exclusive, the kind your clients would kill to access, except they never will. Where? Can't say over the phone. But I can get you in. One guest, one chance. You in? I should have asked questions, but I was tired of being careful. Yeah, I'm in. 3 weeks later, I was on a plane to Charleston with nothing but a duffel bag. The upper deck hit me hard. The air was thick and warm, carrying salt and something sweeter, chemical, like expensive perfume. The ocean stretched black and rippling under a moon too bright to be real, and ahead was the island. I'd seen luxury, Maldives, Santorini, Patagonia. But this was wealth that made those places look quaint. The island glowed. Massive structures lined the coast, glass towers beside colonial mansions, everything lit from within by pulsing golden light. I could see movement between buildings, hear orchestral music drifting across the water. Beautiful, isn't it? A woman stood beside me, 40-ish, sharp cheekbones, eyes like polished stones. I'm Virginia. First time? First time anywhere like this. Third visit for me. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. Fair warning, the first night is overwhelming. Try not to resist it. The more you fight, the harder it gets. The boat's horn sounded. We pulled up to a dock lined with golden lamps. People emerged from below, 50 or more, all perfect hair and clothes, perfect smiles, hiding nervousness. Derek appeared at my elbow. Ready? For what exactly? The tour. He grinned, and in the strange light, his teeth looked too sharp. The real tour. The dock was marble veined with gold. A man waited at the end, tall, thin white suit glowing against dark skin. His smile was practiced and empty. Welcome to Meridian Isle. I'm Augustine. Please follow me. As we walked onto black stone paths, I noticed something wrong. No children. I scanned everywhere. No playgrounds, no small figures. Everyone was between 20 and 50, moving with unnatural grace. "You notice it too?" A younger man fell into step beside me, nervous hands adjusting his glasses. "The demographics, it's unusual. Maybe they don't allow kids?" "Maybe. I'm Robert, data analyst." "Ethan, travel agent." We passed through an iron gate worked into patterns that hurt to look at. The plaza opened before us, surrounded by impossible buildings. The glass towers reflected nothing. The mansions had windows where they shouldn't be, doors too tall, proportions that made my vision swim. And the residents. They moved too fluid, too coordinated, like choreographed dancers. They smiled and waved in voices that sounded almost right. Almost. Augustine led us to a white stone building at the plaza's center. Inside, a chandelier dripped with crystals that chimed in a breeze I couldn't feel. "Each of you will be assigned accommodations," Augustine announced. "Keys are at the front desk. Rest. Tomorrow the tour begins. Tonight, simply enjoy being here." I collected my envelope. Thick paper, perfect calligraphy. "Westridge Manor, Unit 17. "Where are you?" I asked Derek. "North Point, different neighborhood." He clapped my shoulder. "Don't worry. First night, just settle in. Trust me. Trust me." I'd been trusting Derek since his call, taking his word, asking too few questions. But what choice did I have now? I was on an island in the middle of the ocean, surrounded by people who moved wrong. Westridge Manor was old-world elegant. Stone facades, narrow windows, gas lamps burning steady flames. Unit 17's door was deep blue. Inside smelled like lavender and earth. The interior was too perfect. Leather furniture, original art, gleaming kitchen, stairs leading up. I moved through, touching things. Everything felt real but wrong. The kitchen was stocked with premium meat, fresh vegetables, expensive wine. A note on the counter. "Welcome home, Ethan. Everything you need is here." Welcome home. Upstairs, a massive bed with white sheets, windows overlooking the empty street. I should have felt grateful. Instead, I felt watched. At the window, I watched gas lamps cast pools of light with pockets of shadow between them. A figure crossed from one pool to the next. A woman, tall and graceful. She paused under a lamp and looked up at my window. Her eyes reflected light like an animal's. Golden, bright, inhuman. She smiled, then disappeared into shadow. I stepped back, heart hammering. A trick of the light. Exhaustion. The scotch. I repeated that as I undressed, climbed into bed, stared at the ceiling. But I didn't believe it. The house was silent. No traffic, no voices, no ambient noise, just silence and deliberate creaks. I thought about Derek moving through this place like he belonged. Virginia's warning, the more you fight, the harder it gets. The woman's golden eyes. Eventually, exhaustion pulled me under into dreams of marble docks and buildings that breathed. I woke to singing. High, ethereal, coming from everywhere at once. Beautiful and terrible and wrong. My phone was dead. I grabbed it anyway. Nothing. I forced myself to the window. The street was empty, but in the distance figures gathered in the plaza, swaying to that impossible song. Standing among them was a shape that made my vision blur. Too many limbs, geometry that violated physics. One figure turned to look up at my window. Derek. He raised one hand in a wave that was both greeting and warning. The singing stopped. The figures dispersed into shadows. The street returned to silence. I stood shaking, understanding I had made a terrible mistake. On the street below, where the tall figure had stood, something remained. A shadow with no source, stretching across the stones toward my building. And as I watched, it began to move. I didn't sleep again. I watched that shadow crawl across the street like oil, testing lamplight edges. When it reached my building, it stopped, waited. By dawn, the sky turning gray without real sun, the shadow had retreated. The street looked normal. I knew better now. A knock at my door made me jump. Robert stood outside, glasses crooked, shirt wrinkled. Did you see it? Last night. Tell me you saw it. I saw something. What was that thing? He pushed past me, pacing. I tried recording it, but my phone went black. Look at this. His phone time jumped erratically, 3:47, then 8:12, then 2:33. Mine's dead, I said. Lucky you, mine's possessed. He laughed, strangled. They're not human. Saying it out loud made it real. We find the others from the boat, Robert said. Figure out what this is. Find a way off. There's a tour this morning, I said. We go. We smile. And we look for an exit. The plaza was full. Our group clustered near the fountain, uneasy. Residents mingled among us, their eyes too bright, memorizing our faces. Augustine appeared at 9 o'clock. Good morning. Today you'll explore Meridian Isle. We've divided you into smaller groups. A digital display showed names in 5 groups. I was Amber. Robert was Crimson. You'll reunite this evening for the welcome banquet, Augustine said. That word, banquet. My guide was Lydia, black hair, too many teeth in her smile. Follow me to Eastvale District. Eastvale had pristine houses with lawns that looked painted. No weeds, no growth, static perfection. Lydia walked backward, never stumbling. Meridian Isle was established 40 years ago as a refuge for certain populations who don't fit conventional society. What kind of populations? Virginia asked. Diverse. We're very selective. Only compatible individuals receive invitations. Compatible with what? She didn't answer. Virginia leaned close. My 3rd visit. I can't remember leaving the first 2 times. I just wake up with a week missing. Ice spread through my chest. Lydia's eyes went completely black. No iris. No white. Then she blinked, normal again. That's a conversation for later. The tour lasted 3 hours. Victorian neighborhoods, modernist glass districts, each with residents who moved wrong, shadows that lagged, reflections showing something else. Augustine announced, "You have the afternoon free. Just remember, locked doors should remain locked. Stay on marked paths after dark." What happens if we don't? Someone asked. Break the rules and you'll discover why we have them. Robert found me. My guide kept talking about the harvest. When I asked what it meant, she just smiled. Virginia joined us. We need to find Derek. North Point perched on cliffs overlooking the ocean. We found Derek's unit easily. He opened the door immediately. Ethan, I was wondering when you'd find me. His unit was sparse, multiple heavy locks on the door. You figured it out, he said. You're going to tell us the rest. He stared at the water. I didn't want to bring you here, but they needed new guests, and I owed them. What are they? He laughed like breaking glass. Vampires, sirens, fallen angels, demons. Meridian Isle is a refuge for the supernatural. And the guests? His face crumpled. Your food. They sample you over a week. Drain you, eat your dreams, siphon your souls. You brought us here to die. I brought you because if I didn't, they'd come for me. I've been bringing guests for 5 years. He pulled up his sleeve, revealing a symbol tattooed into his skin. This is my contract. Unbreakable. Unless I can transfer it. His eyes met mine. That's why I brought you, Ethan. Tonight at the banquet, they'll make offers. The alternative is being consumed slowly until there's nothing left. There has to be a way to escape, Robert said. There's no escape. The island is surrounded by water that will kill you. The boats only come when summoned by residents. The island itself is alive. It knows when humans try to leave. People must have tried. Every group has runners. They last hours, maybe a day. Then the island takes them. He gestured to the window. See those rocks? Sometimes you see things washed up, things that used to be human. Virginia stood abruptly. I've been here before and survived. Did you? Derek asked softly. Or did they let you leave? You keep coming back. Maybe you never really left." She slapped him hard. "Tonight at the banquet you'll have to choose," Derek said, "whether to be prey, partner, or predator." We left in silence. Returning to the plaza, we found chaos. A man stood in the fountain, screaming, "They're everywhere! We have to burn it down!" Augustine appeared, spoke quietly. The man stopped mid-scream, climbed out docile, and followed Augustine away. I never saw him again. "That's what happens when you break," Virginia whispered. "We need a plan," I said. Virginia showed us photos from the tour. In the windows behind residents were shapes that didn't match. Wings, too many teeth, no faces. "The camera sees through what they project," she said. "The phones don't work for communication," Robert said. "No signal." "Derek said they wipe our minds," I added. "Then we survive tonight," Virginia said finally. "We go to the banquet. We listen to their offers. And we refuse. Together." It wasn't much, but it was something. I found formal clothes laid out on my bed, a black suit, a note. "For the banquet. Don't disappoint us." I showered. The mirror steamed up. When I wiped it clear, I saw my reflection. And behind me, something watched. I spun around. Empty room. But in the mirror, it remained. Tall, thin, made of shadow. The mirror shattered. Glass scattered. Blood welled from a cut on my arm. On the wall, condensation formed words. "We've been waiting for you." I dressed quickly. When I looked in the remaining shards, I barely recognized myself. I looked like prey. The plaza had been transformed. Long tables filled the space, covered in white cloth. Candles burned. At the center on a platform sat Augustine with a dozen others. They weren't hiding anymore. Wings, horns, scales. Features belonging to no earthly species. Terrible and beautiful. Our group gathered at lower tables, 50 guests in formal wear, silent and terrified. I found Robert and Virginia. Augustine stood, raising a crystal glass filled with something too red to be wine. "Welcome to the true Meridian Isle. Tonight, we feast. Tonight." His smile widened, showing teeth that went on far too long. "Tonight, we feed." The banquet began with silence. 50 humans at the lower tables, 13 creatures on the platform above. The only sound was candlelight crackling and waves crashing distantly against rocks. Augustine surveyed us like a farmer inspecting livestock. "You've been brought here for a reason," he began. "Each of you carries something we desire. Vitality, dreams, hope, fear. The essence that makes humanity so delicious." A woman at the platform laughed. Her wings rustled. "But we're not monsters," Augustine continued. "We offer choices. You may serve willingly and live comfortably. You may become like us, transformed, elevated beyond your mortal limitations. Or," his smile faded, "you may resist and feed us anyway." Servers emerged from the shadows. Not human. They moved too smoothly, their joints bending wrong. They placed plates before us, food that looked perfect, but smelled of copper and earth. "Eat," Augustine commanded. "It's rude to refuse hospitality." I looked at the plate. The meat was too red, too raw. Something in it seemed to pulse. Virginia pushed hers away. "No." The temperature dropped 10 degrees instantly. "No!" Augustine's voice was gentle, curious. "You refuse our gift?" "I refuse to participate in whatever this is." Other guests watched, frozen between fear and admiration. Robert slowly pushed his plate away too. Then another guest. Another. Half the tables sat untouched. Augustine stood. "Very well. The first course was optional. The second is not." The servants moved again, faster now. They grabbed guests who'd refused, including Virginia, and dragged them toward the platform. She fought, screaming, but their strength was impossible. "Stop!" I was on my feet. "Leave her alone!" "Ethan!" Derek's voice from behind me. "Don't." I turned. He stood at the edge of the plaza, his face pale. You can't save her. You can only choose which side you're on. I choose humanity. Then you choose death. The creatures on the platform descended. No longer beautiful, their true forms rippled through their human disguises. Scales, fur, flesh that moved like water. The horned man opened his mouth, showing rows of teeth that spiraled inward. Virginia screamed as the winged woman leaned close, inhaling deeply. Such fear, such exquisite terror. Robert grabbed a knife from his table. "Get away from her!" He charged the platform. 3 steps, maybe 4, before something invisible struck him. He flew backward, crashed into a table, didn't move. "Robert!" I ran to him. He was breathing, barely. Blood trickled from his ear. Around me, chaos erupted. Some guests ran. Others sat paralyzed. The creatures moved through them like sharks through a school of fish, selecting, tasting, consuming in ways that made my vision blur. I had to move, had to act. I grabbed Robert under the arms, dragged him toward the plaza's edge. A creature stepped in my path, tall, skeletal, wearing human skin like an ill-fitting coat. "Where are you going?" it asked in multiple voices. "Away from you," it laughed. "There is no away. Only here. Only us. Only—" I threw the knife Robert had dropped. It struck the creature's chest, sank deep. The thing looked down, surprised. Then it smiled. "That tickles." It pulled the knife out, tossed it aside, reached for me. A gunshot cracked through the plaza. The creature stumbled. Black blood sprayed from its shoulder. It turned, hissing. Derek stood 20 feet away, holding a pistol. His hands shook. "Run, Ethan, now!" I didn't question. I pulled Robert toward the shadows between buildings. Behind us, Derek fired again. Again, the creatures converged on him. "Derek! Go!" His voice was breaking. "I'm done running. Go!" I ran. I dragged Robert through streets that twisted like intestines. The island was changing around us, rearranging itself. Buildings shifted. Paths looped back on themselves. Robert groaned, his eyes fluttering. We're getting out. Hold on. Can't get out? Yes, we can. But how? Derek said the boats only came when summoned. The water would kill us. The island itself was alive, hunting us. Behind us, sounds of the banquet had become screams. Not just guests, creatures too. Derek's final stand was costing them. I pulled Robert into an alley between houses, checked him for injuries. The blood from his ear had slowed. His pupils were uneven. "Concussion," I muttered. "We need help." "No help here," he whispered. "Only them." Movement at the alley's mouth. A figure approached, backlit by golden lamplight. Virginia. She walked stiffly, her dress torn, her face blank. "Ethan, come back. They're calling for you." "Virginia? Are you okay?" "I'm perfect." Her voice was flat. "They showed me what I could be. No more fear, no more pain. Just service, just peace." She stepped closer. Her eyes were solid black. "They took her," Robert whispered. "They're inside her now." "Virginia." "Fight it. I know you're in there." "I don't want to fight." Her smile was wrong, too wide. "I want to feed. Come back with me, Ethan. Let them in. It's so much easier than resisting." I backed deeper into the alley, pulling Robert. "I'm sorry, Virginia." "You will be." She lunged. I pushed her back, harder than I meant to. She hit the wall, crumpled. For a moment, her eyes cleared. "Run," she gasped. "I can't. Hold them. Run." Then the blackness returned, and she screamed. A sound that wasn't human, that made the air vibrate. We ran. We found ourselves at the island's western edge. The cliffs overlooked the ocean, waves smashing against rocks 100 feet below. The moon hung huge and wrong in the sky. Robert collapsed against a boulder. "Can't. Keep going." "You have to. We're almost there." "Almost where?" He laughed bitterly. "There's nowhere to go." He was right. Behind us, the island itself seemed to pulse with hunger. Ahead, only water and death. I heard singing, that same ethereal melody from the first night. Figures emerged from the darkness, dozens of them surrounding us, residents, creatures, all wearing their human masks again, perfect and terrible. Augustine walked through the crowd. "Impressive, Ethan. You made it farther than most. Let us go." "I can't. The island won't allow it. You're here now. You're part of it." "Then kill me. Get it over with." "Kill you?" He laughed. "Why would we waste you? You have such potential, such fire." He gestured to the crowd. "We could use someone like you, strong, defiant, alive." "I'd rather die." "You say that now, but you haven't seen the alternative." He nodded to someone in the crowd. They brought Derek forward. He was alive but changed. The tattoo on his arm glowed with sickly light. His eyes were hollow. "Derek found out what happens when you serve too long," Augustine said. "The contract consumes you slowly, until there's nothing left but the hunger." Derek looked at me, barely recognized me. "Ethan, I'm sorry. I tried." "We could spare you that fate," Augustine said. "We could make you something better, a partner, a predator. You'd keep your mind, your will. You'd just become more. What's the price? Your humanity, your mortality, your old life." He spread his hands. "Everything you are, for everything you could be." I looked at Robert, barely conscious, at Derek, hollowed out, at the creatures surrounding us. "And if I refuse, then you'll feed us tonight, and we'll send what's left of you back to the world with no memories, no dreams, no soul, a walking shell." The choice. Derek had warned me, prey, partner, or predator. "I need time to think. You have until the moon reaches its peak." Augustine pointed upward. 1 hour. Then we feast regardless." They retreated, leaving us alone on the cliff. But I could feel them watching, waiting. "Don't do it," Robert whispered. "Don't become one of them." "What choice do I have?" "Die human. That's the choice." "And let them win?" "They've already won." He coughed, blood on his lips. "This island has been here 40 years. How many people do you think they've taken? Hundreds? Thousands? We're not the first to resist. We won't be the last." I stared at the water below, the rocks, the darkness. "There's another way," I said slowly. "What?" "They said the island won't let us leave. But what if we're not trying to leave? What if we're just ending it?" Robert's eyes widened. "You can't mean the island is alive. It feeds on us, through them. But what if we take away its food? What if we choose neither option?" "That's insane. Everything about this is insane." I pulled him to his feet. 1 hour, he said. "We find as many guests as we can. We tell them the truth, and we give them a real choice. They'll stop us. Maybe. But maybe they won't expect it. They think they've already won." We moved back into the island, avoiding the main paths. Found guests hiding in buildings, paralyzed with fear. I told them everything. The truth about the island, the creatures, the false choices. "We can't win," I said to each group. "But we can refuse to play their game. We can take back the one thing they're trying to steal. Our choice." Some listened. Others were too far gone, their minds already broken. But by the time the moon reached its peak, I had 20 people. 20 humans ready to make a final stand. We gathered at the cliffs. The creatures came as promised, led by Augustine. "Have you decided?" he asked. "Yes." I stepped forward. "We choose none of your options. We choose ourselves." Augustine's smile faltered. "That's not how this works. You said we had a choice. This is ours." The creatures moved closer, dropping their disguises. Wings and scales and horns, beautiful and horrifying. "You'll die," Augustine said, "on our terms." For a moment something flickered in his ancient eyes. Respect, fear. So be it. They rushed forward. We jumped, I expected to die. The fall, the rocks, the water. It should have killed me instantly. Instead, I hit something soft, invisible, like a net made of air. Around me, others floated, suspended above the waves. 20 humans hanging in space, alive and confused. The creatures lined the cliff above, watching. Augustine's voice echoed. "You chose defiance. So rare, so precious," he laughed. "Did you think we'd let you waste yourselves? You're far too valuable." The invisible net pulled us upward, back toward the island, back toward them. "No!" I struggled, but the force was absolute. We rose through the air like fish being reeled in. We landed on the cliff edge. The creatures surrounded us. "Your defiance makes you even more delicious," Augustine said. "We'll savor every moment of breaking you." This was it. We'd gambled and lost. Then the island screamed. A sound like tearing metal filled the air. The ground shook violently. Cracks spread through the stone beneath our feet. "What?" Augustine stumbled. "What did you do?" "Nothing," I said. But I felt it too. Something was wrong. The island itself was convulsing. Robert laughed, delirious. "We broke it. Our choice. Broke the rules." The island's hunger had rules. It fed on fear, submission, the surrender of will. But we'd refused all options. We'd chosen a fourth path, one the island couldn't process. The cracks widened. Buildings in the distance collapsed. The creatures screamed, their forms flickering between human and monstrous. "The island is dying," Robert whispered. "We starved it." Augustine grabbed me. "What have you done? This place has stood for 40 years. "You gave us a choice," I said. "We made it. Not your fault you didn't like the answer." The cliff edge crumbled. Creatures fell, shrieking, into the churning water below. The golden lamps exploded in showers of glass. Augustine's form was unraveling, his human disguise peeling away to reveal something ancient and terrible underneath. "You'll die with us. Maybe. But we'll die free." The ground beneath us gave way. We fell, really fell this time, toward the ocean. Above us, the island collapsed in on itself, buildings folding like paper, the entire structure imploding. I hit the water hard. Cold shock stole my breath. Waves pulled me under. I struggled toward the surface, broke through gasping. Around me, others fought the current. The island was gone, just debris and foam where it had been. In the distance, lights, a boat. The same boat that had brought us here, approaching without its crew. Empty, waiting. We swam toward it. Some didn't make it. The water was too cold. The distance too far. But I reached the ladder, pulled myself up, helped others aboard. Robert. 3 other guests I didn't know. 5 of us total, out of 50. The boat's engine started on its own. We drifted away from where the island had been. The sun was rising, real sun, turning the sky orange and gold. I looked back. Nothing remained. Just ocean. "Did that really happen?" one of the other survivors asked. "I don't know," I said honestly. Robert pulled out his phone. It was working now, showing the correct time, a signal, messages from the outside world. 3 days, he said. "We've been gone 3 days." It had felt like longer. Like years. The boat brought us to Charleston's dock by noon. Police and paramedics waited. Someone had reported the boat leaving 3 days ago and never returning. They questioned us. We told them the truth. An island, creatures, people who didn't make it back. They didn't believe us, of course. They thought we'd been drugged, traumatized, victims of some elaborate scam. They searched for the island on maps, sent helicopters, found nothing. My phone had photos, but when I checked them, they showed only static. Robert's data was corrupted, all evidence gone. We were processed, examined, released, given cards for therapists who specialized in trauma. I went home to Nashville, my empty house, my silent life. For weeks, I told myself it had been a hallucination, a break, stress-induced psychosis. Then I got an email, no sender, no subject. just a message. Thank you for visiting Meridian Isle. We hope you enjoyed your stay. Please consider joining us again. The island always remembers its guests. Attached was a photo. Me standing on the cliff edge. And behind me, barely visible in the shadows, Derek, alive, smiling. Below the photo, a single line. The contract still needs a signature. I deleted the email. Blocked the sender. Threw my computer across the room. But that night I dreamed of golden lamps and perfect streets. Of choices that weren't really choices. Of Derek's hollow eyes. The island was gone. But something from the island had followed me home. And some nights, when I wake at 3 a.m. to silence and darkness, I can hear it calling my name. Thanks for watching. If this story got under your skin, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more. And whatever you do, if someone offers you an exclusive tour to a place that sounds too good to be true, say no. Trust me on this one.